On this week's episode of What's Up Weekly, we've got highlights from the Bloomington Women's March. We'll take a look at the demonstration at the Monroe County Courthouse.
And winter weather can be pretty unpredictable. We'll tell you more on how to travel safely when there's snowy weather and black ice. What's Up Weekly starts now. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of What's Up Weekly. I'm Laura Puglisi.
And I'm Alex Edie.
Alex and I are so thrilled to be back here in studio and excited to see what 2018 has to bring us. So let's start with some exciting news happening here locally. Monroe County will be receiving their first covered bridge in almost 4 decades. The project is being funded partially by an award from the National Historic Covered Bridge Preservation Program. The location of the bridge will be located 6 miles northwest of Bloomington near the Bean Blossom Creek. The bridge is being created with parts from one dismantled in 1975, with the rest being added on. Monroe County is in full support of the bridge, hoping to gain tourism as a result.
And if you're familiar with the weather in Indiana, you know the seasons can be pretty unpredictable, especially in the winter. What's Up Weekly reporter Jonathan Levy has a few quick tips on how to stay safe despite the menacing black ice that made its way on the campus walkways.
With Arctic temperatures invading the East Coast and Midwest over winter break and in the weeks to come, students brace for impact by bundling up in heavy coats, soft gloves, and warm beanies. While students can prepare for the cold, their biggest obstacle isn't sub-zero temperatures, but rather the menacing yet infamous black ice.
I don't like cold weather at all, so I don't like this weather at all. I liked it better last week.
It's pretty cold. It can be tough to get to class sometimes. Sometimes you slip or something.
Black ice is ice that is nearly invisible on the road and therefore very dangerous for cars and just commuters on foot as well.
Black ice is a thin coating of glazed ice on a surface, especially on roads. The ice itself is not black, but visually transparent, allowing the often black road below it to be seen through, thus the name black ice.
I don't like it. I think it's really dangerous. It's really slippery.
Black ice can certainly be the cause of pain and embarrassment for students walking to and from classes if they find themselves stepping on a slippery slope of black ice.
I have seen quite a few people fall on the stairs near Ballantyne on the black ice that forms on the wood.
I have a Wrangler and they're really lightweight, and I caused like a 3-car crash last winter because I slid on the black ice because I thought it was clear.
If you find yourself slipping and spinning on ice, you can save yourself from a bruised hip and falling like a fool in front of a pool of students by following these very important steps.
It's Jonathan Levy from Hoosier News Source, and I'm going to talk to you about the best way to fall when you slip on black ice. So when you're walking on black ice and you begin to slip, most of us tend to put our arms out like this to break our fall. However, that actually increases the chance of injury. So instead of putting your arms out like this, you want to curl yourself in a ball or put your hands at your side. It's the safest way to fall on black ice. So if you feel yourself slipping, remember, don't put your arms out. Instead, give yourself a hug.
So next time good old Mother Nature brings us sub-zero temperatures, remember that you have the tools to not only stay warm and cozy, but also to save yourself from the embarrassment and pain of falling on black ice. Don't let black ice ruin a great winter in Bloomington. For Hoosier News Source, I'm Jonathan Levy.
Wow, through all the severe weather that seems to come our way, Indiana never fails to get through it.
That's for sure. That was honestly good information. I never knew that. I've fallen, I have to say, many times.
Oh, yeah.
And I've never known to do that or hug yourself. So it was interesting.
Just give yourself a hug. Thanks so much for that, Jonathan.
Thanks, Jonathan. In other news, bid night took place last Tuesday in the IU Tennis Center. Thousands of hopeful sorority recruits filled the center awaiting their invitation to their preferred Greek chapter. The bid night event is organized by the Panathletic Association and serves as an exciting finale to the women's rushing process. Emotions were high as the ladies received their decisions sealed in envelopes, which made the suspense and excitement even better.
And on Saturday, cities across the United States rallied for the second nationwide Women's March. One of those demonstrations happened right here in Bloomington. What's Up Weekly reporter Mackenzie Young brings us more on the 2018 Bloomington Resistance March.
Just 1 year ago, people across the country came together for the first organized Women's March following Trump's inauguration. 1 year later, not much has changed.
I would like them to understand that they need to start listening to their constituents, because it doesn't seem to me that they are listening to their constituents.
On Saturday, citizens marched in the women's marches across the country, hoping that their voices will be heard.
I think as soon as people find their voice to speak out, in the moment after that, where they go, wow, I said something, I said it, I said what I was feeling, people listened, I was heard, that's when you decide to take action.
Here at the Monroe County Courthouse, women, men, and children of all ages, races, and backgrounds are here making their voice heard, as you can see behind me.
The event began with citizens sharing their own stories and voicing their opinions on certain issues.
Throughout my life, I've been told to speak up, but not too loudly, and certainly not for myself.
What is happening is not right, and that we need to take a stand.
Then followed marching along the courthouse square. For Nias, she says the more of a conversation these issues are, the better of an understanding we can have for one another.
I felt today that we came closer this year to accepting that as a goal and reality, and to moving forward together. I hope so. I hope so.
For What's Up Weekly, I'm Mackenzie Young.
Nearly 200 people, including men, women, and children, came out to the Bloomington Resistance March on Saturday.
And Alex, you actually got the chance to be there as well, right?
Yeah, so I did get to go and cover the event as well, and there was definitely a crowd. So the weather was surprisingly warm that day, which was interesting, but it just was a mixture of everyone there. There was young and old people, there was men, women, children. It just was really interesting to see, so many people there, such a diverse crowd, and you definitely could feel the support and the unity there.
Yeah, and I actually heard, compared to last year's Women's March, where there was mostly young people, this year was a little bit different in the sense that there was both young and old people, especially in here in Bloomington. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome to see.
So anyways, it's time to jump right into our first trending topic segment of 2018.
That's right. 2017 was such a great year, but I'm ready to take on 2018 and see what the new year has in store. But however, before we do that, we'd like to do a little recap of what went on in our world this past year.
That's right. So we've got what was trending and most searched on Google in 2017. To start off, let's talk about the top 5 searches in 2017. We've got number 5, Las Vegas shooting, number 4, the Super Bowl, number 3, Tom Petty, number 2, Matt Lauer, and number 1, Hurricane Irma.
And I have to say, this list doesn't surprise me. I definitely searched a couple of those topics at one point or the other last year. Let's move forward to the most searched people. We've got number 5, Kevin Spacey, number 4, Michael Flynn, number 3, Harvey Weinstein, number 2, Meghan Markle, and number 1, Matt Lauer.
Matt Lauer there again, wow. So now for the most searched how-tos. Number 5, how to buy Bitcoin. Number 4, how to watch Mayweather versus McGregor. Number 3, how to watch the solar eclipse. Wow, that feels like forever ago.
I know.
Number 2, how to make solar eclipse glasses. And finally, number 1, which I might add surprised and both confused me, how to make slime.
How to make slime. I don't know. I kind of want to know a little bit.
Why?
How to make slime.
I personally don't.
It's interesting. Anyway, finally, Google has created a list of things we asked more than ever in 2017. And Laura and I have picked some that we want you all to hear. So last year, more than ever, we asked, how do hurricanes form, how to calm a dog during a storm, and how to help flood victims.
We also asked, how far can North Korean missiles go, how to run for office, how to make a difference,
how to be a strong woman, how to be a superhero, and how to be fearless.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And last but not least, one of my favorites, especially in light of this year, how to move forward.
Yes, I love that. To check out more of Google's trending searches in 2017, visit www.google.com/2017.
Moving right along, a new trend that has been already going viral this year has been causing some controversy and some illnesses.
Yes, so you may have heard of some of these social media challenges that are just taking things to the next level, okay? And that is eating Tide Pods. Yes, Tide Pods. These handheld detergent packs are all over social media as teenagers take on the Tide Pod challenge, which, as you can imagine, is not a good idea.
I don't understand this. I mean, we've all done some stupid things when we were younger, but Tide Pods?
This tops it.
Unfortunately, the challenge has gone too far and can even be deadly. According to the American Association of Poison Control Centers, there have been 39 reported exposures alone this year among 13 to 19-year-olds, and each of those exposures was counted as intentional.
Yeah, and if you can't already imagine, ingesting a Tide Pod can lead to vomiting, respiratory issues, and chemical burns to your insides. So if you're thinking of doing this, just don't.
And I know we joke about it, but it's serious.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Tide responded by tweeting about the issue, saying their pods should only be used for doing laundry, and eating them is just a bad idea.
So thank you, Tide, for stepping up, letting the people know. If you guys have thoughts on the hashtag Tide Pod Challenge, tweet us your thoughts at What's Up Weekly IU.
Coming up, we have a former IU student with a resolution to the bee theft problem.
Stay with us.
It's an honor to be here.
After suffering a season-ending injury in late March,
as you can see behind me,
Today in studio, we have a guest who's actually been on our show before. From the B Corp, we have Ellie Sims. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you guys for having me.
So Ellie, let's get right into it. You know, you're one of the founders of the B Corp, a company that you founded here when you were at IU as a student, actually. And she has actually developed some technology to help prevent beehive thefts.
That's really, really interesting. But before we hear about it, I just want to quickly recap just what's been going on, what's been the controversy with all of these beehive thefts. Can you give us kind of a rundown of that?
Yeah, so beekeepers are actually stealing hives from each other. Partly this industry is in a lot of stress, but what's happening is these beekeepers are taking the hives and they're turning around and getting a quick buck from brokers who rent hives for almond pollination. And sometimes even they just leave the hives in the orchards. But it's causing quite a controversy and beekeepers are pretty worried about it.
Yeah, and we've seen, I think, a lot about this on the news actually recently. We heard about it after Christmas in Idaho and in California. We've heard about this a lot recently. So it is a huge problem, I think, that we're dealing with, and it's causing a lot of attention because we need bees so much. So you've created, or the B Corp has created QGPS technology, right? Tell me, what is that? Tell me about it.
Yeah, so it basically takes our sensors that we already had for our existing product, Queen's Guard, and it is a new solution on top of that. So the sensors had accelerometers and GPS sensors. So we took that and we allowed beekeepers to detect when the hive is moved. So they came to us with this problem and we already had the platform set up. That basically is all it does.
So have you seen any movement on this? Have people been reaching out to you? Oh, I want this. Have you seen maybe people benefiting from the technology?
Oh yeah, so we shipped out some of our first sensors last week. We actually had even before that, the beekeepers actually came to us and requested this. They saw Queen's Guard at a trade show. They said, this is great that this can help my queen health, but can this help if my hive gets stolen? So we spent a few weeks in the office building it out and then released it. So we already had people interested in day 0. So we're very excited for this almond pollination season to see if we can nab a thief.
Now, is this a problem that you have all year long? I know that there's different seasons in which bees can be active and things like that. Is this a year-round problem that needs to be solved?
It definitely is a year-round problem. I think a lot of it is concentrated in February when the bees are in the almond fields, and that's when beekeepers are mostly really worried about it. But we have beekeepers in North Dakota, Florida, Texas that have all had their hives stolen that are interested in it as well.
Wow, that's insane. So people go into these beehives that they've spent so much. I mean, I remember reading one of the news reports. It's thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of dollars actually that they're losing from this. So this could technically save beekeepers from losing tens of thousands of dollars, this technology.
Well, it's what they need to be able to recover the hives. So they would know immediately when it gets stolen, and they can actually set up their local sheriff's office so they're notified of it. What was happening before was when sheriffs were getting involved, there was no way to determine if the hives that were stolen were the thieves' property or the true owners. So now there's a data line tracing those hives, so sheriffs can actually help beekeepers get their hives back sooner.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I'm sorry, go
did
ahead.
You have something to say,
I just wanted to know kind of what are you guys doing to get more information about this out to the people? You know, how can we help spread the word about something like this?
Yeah. So we've been announcing it on our Facebook. This is great to be on the show, to be able to talk about it. It's an interesting niche problem, so it's nice that your viewers get to learn about it. But yeah, I mean, for us, we're just trying to meet beekeepers and tell them about this solution and all the other potential things we could do with these sensors is really our goal.
And I wanted to also add one thing, you know, if you had maybe, first of all, your plans for the future for this technology and for, you know, what you want to do with the B Corp as a whole, what would that be? And along with that, you know, what would you tell people like our viewers who you have said maybe don't know a lot about this technology or about, you know, the bee problem in general? What's something maybe you would want to tell them about the future of your company or this technology?
Yeah. So there is a ton of potential for, these are Internet of Things, IoT sensors in beehives. That space is booming as an industry in general, and this can definitely turn the conversation around from our bees are dying and our beekeepers are struggling with issues like theft to look how this industry has turned around. So I'm really excited for that. I'm really excited for the conversation to shift, this industry to have their heyday again, which hasn't happened in 40 years.
Wow.
And really turn it around into a new century.
Wow, that's incredible.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much for coming in to spread the word about this. We really do wish you guys the best of luck on everything that you're working on, and that's awesome that you're just trademarking this. That's awesome. So make sure that you learn a little bit more about the B Corp and everything that they're working on. Visit their website at bcorp.com, thebcorp.com. Thanks so much, Ellie, for coming in.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. So that's what's up this week. Make sure to tune in next time for all your local and entertainment news.
And don't forget to follow us on social media. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at IUSTV News, and follow us on Twitter at What's Up Weekly IU. For What's Up Weekly, I'm Alex Eady.
And I'm Laura Puglisi. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.